fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
This begins with an urban legend. The urban legend starts here in Texas, in San Antonio. The story goes that at the intersection of Valamain and Shane Road, a bus stopped on the tracks because the engine died. And a train hit the bus and everyone died. The urban legend was that if anyone got stuck on the tracks, that the children that died in the bus would push you across to save your life. I was a junior 5 years ago in high school. There's some gray here. And we were exploring. We wanted to know, was this urban legend true? We had heard all the kids talking about it, but now we had keys and we had cars and wheels because our parents certainly weren't going to take us to the other side of town to investigate an urban legend. Do the ghosts really push you across the tracks? So Casey, Dan, and I headed out to befumble our way, if you will, before Google Maps and any other device of technology. And we found our way there at the intersection of Valamain and Shane Road. Now we were told to bring baby powder to sprinkle all over the car. More on the back side of the car so that you could see the fingerprints and handprints of the little children that push you across the tracks. So we doubled up and we brought two things of baby powder. And Dan and I got out there and we sprayed it all over the back of the car. And this was a perfect car because this was a Ford Escort hatchback. So it had a nice wide back so we could see a lot of prints. And the baby powder, just like dust in the wind with the full moon. And we were having a great time. I mean, who wouldn't throw baby powder all over the place? Casey just sat there looking at us like a bunch of fools. It was wonderful. Good old times. So we hopped in the car and we waited. A minute passes, 5 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. As I mentioned, this was the time before cell phones, so we could have a conversation anywhere. People still talk to one another. It didn't matter if we were sitting in front of some tracks somewhere, if we were sitting in a restaurant, if we were sitting in a parking lot. We were having a good old time. Now, one of the things we did was sit a few feet in front of the tracks. And that's where we had the car neutral for this entire time. So after these hours go by, we're like, hey, well, this is probably just, old urban legend, whatever. Maybe we should roll on out. Casey starts up the car, and we inch up onto the tracks, and I say, wait a second. Maybe we should just stop on the tracks because we weren't on the tracks. Maybe we need to be on these tracks for this to really work. And they were like, well, we've been here a little while already. Might as well kill the engine and give it another try. Kill the engine on the tracks, put it in neutral, and we're hanging out. And a minute goes by, 5, 10, about 20 minutes or so. And that's right, a train starts to come. Of course, we timed it perfectly. And from there, we're not concerned at this particular point about what's going to happen because we can get out of the car. We're not concerned if we're going to be hit by the train or anything like that. We can still start the car and drive off the tracks. But the car begins to rock. So it has a sway motion. And we're kind of teeter-tottering. but it looks a little bit like we're up on a little bit of a plane. The train track is kind of elevated, if you will. So I'm thinking maybe it's the vibration of the train that's rocking the car, because I'm the skeptic of the bunch. But the car's swaying more and more, and eventually it goes down. And it rolls probably about 10 to 15 feet past the tracks. The train comes and goes by. We hop out of the car, and I immediately walk over to the tracks, and I'm going to do my investigation. I look at the tracks, and I'm like, yep, the angles, the car, vibration. We probably started leaning just a little bit past the pendulum, and then we rode down the hill. And I'm over there analyzing and looking at these tracks. I'm having a good old time, being Sherlock Holmes, of course. But Dan and Casey are staring at the back of the car. They haven't even made it up to the tracks. And they see little dots, which would be fingerprints, and little marks that look like the palm prints, just a smaller impression of hands. Now, there wasn't just one or maybe two over here and there. They were all over the place. And so the skeptic in me said, ha ha, I know there's some kids out in the bushes. And I start to look out there, and I'm thinking, is there really any kids out in the bushes? Come on, we've been out here for 3 hours. What are there, 10-year-olds? 50 of them hanging out in the bushes? They came and pushed us across at the exact time? No way. So I give in to the skepticism. Oh my gosh, maybe there is something to this. Dan and Casey are freaked out. They are ready to roll. We hop in the car, she turns the key, and we roll on out. And that is my real life Texas ghost story.
Richie, can you let me know when this